Yo. What's going on, everybody out there? It's your boy Pando316. It's time for another episode of Just a Fan Podcast. Well, we just fans and you just fans, and we love to talk about football. We running too deep tonight. I'm your co-host, Pando316. And over here next to me, I got it right this time. That's Hugh Kleffner. That's Stephen White.
Steve White, man. Just Steve White here, man.
Just Steve White. He's Hugh Kleffner. It's this man. The ladies, y'all know. But we we're gonna talk a little football. So we just had the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
We just had something I thought that was really entertaining. We had the roast of Tom Brady on Netflix. If you have not seen this, we're not gonna spend a lot of time talking about it because we're not gonna spoil it for you. But I'm gonna just say this about it. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
First of all, Tom Brady has a really good sense of humor. That's first thing. I didn't know he was like, he was cool like that. Because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, they had some folk come on there. They told him a new one.
Well, look, man, when you have that much money, when you have more money than almost everyone in the building, you should be cool with the insults.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was like, okay, well, they get the man, Kevin Hart. Me personally, I feel like Kevin Hart had fallen off a little bit comedically, but he showed his chops that night as the host. I thought he did a great job. The comedians themselves were all pretty good, but I'm gonna tell you, a lot of his former now he wasn't in a roaster, he was in a roast. But I'm gonna tell you what, I was really shocked, really shocked at the one he had his teammates come on. But the funniest teammate, in my opinion, that came out there, or the funniest NFL person that came out there, I don't know if he wrote his own jokes or somebody wrote them for him, but his delivery was exceptional. And that was Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, you said that. Okay.
Drew Bledsoe told him up. I mean, you know how you hang with your boys and y'all roasted each other. You got that one homeboy that's just going in, and you like, damn, like that. That's how Drew Bledsoe. I was watching going, dang, Drew Bledsoe kind of ripping him a new one. I was like, and it's funny. It wasn't like,
and you wouldn't expect that from Drew Bledsoe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You would not expect that. I mean, it's Drew Bledsoe. I mean, like, no offense, but like, you would not expect that from him.
Because you could somebody could write the jokes for you, but like his delivery on the jokes, like you got to have excellent comedic timing for the delivery on the jokes.
Hey, he was waiting for this one.
Yeah. Oh, he was ready. Oh yeah, this is my moment.
This has been brewing for about 2 decades. He been waiting for this.
Took my job. I'm for
He been waiting for 2 decades for this one.
Like what he said, yeah, I still got some stuff over you. He's like, I was still drafted in the first round, and I'm still married. I was like, I was like, oh my God.
Hey, listen, he been sitting on this no diddy for a while now,
bruh. I was like, Drew did it, and the antithesis of Drew Bledsoe's set was Randy Moss's set.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Moss was dry as just the Sahara Desert. He was just Man, he was lame as a one-legged horse.
Yeah.
I was like, he killed all the energy in the room. Like they should have, when they did the lineups, they should have they should have ramped it up with each person.
Yeah.
Instead of because you had like 2 or 3 funny people get up, and then Randy Moss got up, and they just like everybody's kind of like, even Julian Edelman was funny.
Yeah.
Gronk went off script. We want to do shots and everything, but that's Gronk because me do what I want, me Gronk. But
By the way, the female comedian, I can't think of her name.
Nikki Glazer. Nikki Glazer.
Yeah, she actually be here in 2 weeks. Actually, I might.
She was hilarious.
Yeah.
She told Tom up. She got a standing ovation.
Yeah, no, she's funny.
She got a standing ovation. So I was like, yeah, she did that. So, but I've seen her in some other stuff, and I know she's pretty funny. It's just certain people you knew was gonna be funny when they got up there. But the shock of the night was probably Drew Bledsoe. Because, out of all the athletes, he was probably the funniest one. But, dang, Randy Moss laid the egg, man. I don't know what's going to hatch out that egg, but whoo.
I mean, he's not a comedian, so.
He's not a comedian. You're right. But, dang, I mean, even the rest of the athletes that got up there they got some chuckles at least.
Yeah.
Julian Edelman got a couple of chuckle. And let me tell you something. If Bill Belichick can get his own wrinkled tail up there and make people giggle a little bit. Come on, man. You got to see where I'm going here.
Yeah.
You got to see where I'm going. Bill Belichick even showed he had a sense of humor. Emperor Palpatine of the NFL got up there and had some people laughing. Had me laughing. I chuckled a little bit at some of his stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, bruh. So, yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you, NFL fans, if you are a fan of Tom Brady, or if you hated Tom Brady the whole time he played in the NFL, either way, y'all, you gotta go on Netflix and check out. I'm plugging Netflix. Netflix ain't giving me no money. You gotta go on Netflix and watch the roast of Tom Brady. It was excellent. Make sure you got time. It's pretty long. But make sure you got time to go check it out. Because it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And then Tom Brady, the roastee always gets to step up at the end, and he actually has some pretty good quips at the end. So I'm like, okay, Tom, I see you trying to snap back. Okay, all right, that's what's up. But that was really good. It was NFL related because Tom Brady is the GOAT. So you had a bunch of NFL people there too. So that's why it's relevant to our podcast tonight. We're gonna get off of that topic now. Speaking of stupid stuff. There have been some reports.
Oh my goodness!
That because I know some of y'all see our title. It says possible pink slip. Your pink slip potential. That's basically it. So Rashee Rice, Mario Andretti Rice, Dale Earnhardt Rice. He's in the news again. And for this time, it's for allegedly, and we're going to say allegedly because we ain't got the whole story yet, but, if it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck. Anyway, he allegedly assaulted a photographer in a Dallas nightclub earlier this week, last of the 7th. So, yeah, earlier this week. Yeah.
Man, I refuse. No, man. I refuse to believe he did that. I refuse. I'm in denial, man.
Denial is a river in Africa. Let me tell you something. Because we done followed the NFL for a long time, since we are adolescents. The guys on this podcast, even Tristan is not in here right now, and Brandon's not in here right now, but we've all followed NFL since we were adolescents. Okay, we were kids, and you know the trend. Usually when a player does something stupid, he gonna do something stupid again. It's very rare that they actually 180 themselves.
Come on, man. Nah.
And let's go back and look at the whole situation with Rashee Rice and the racing incident. I'm gonna leave the scene of crime. I'll just walk away. Leave my playbook in there. Yeah. I'm gonna just walk away. I'm gonna injure 6 people. Yeah. So now you're dealing with criminal charges and civil court. You're only getting 6.5 million, and you may not get that because only 1.8 of it is guaranteed in your salary, in your contract. So, and now that's why I believe that this is highly feasible. I'm not saying it happened. Let me be clear. I'm not saying it happened. But given, hey man, if it walked like a duck, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
and he's the type of dude. He has a history of this from when he was in college at SMU. Then he does this thing, a while back with the racing. The common sense ought to tell you that if you already in some trouble already, why don't you just lay low? Why don't you stay at the crib, watch some Netflix, play some video games? Oh, hey, how about this? Hey, why don't you leave the city? Go on vacation. Just go sit out on the beach for a little bit. Just get away from people. But just lay low.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to go to the club because I'm 24 years old and I'm a millionaire. And I'm going to act a fool. And I have to, at the same time, I'm going to show a little empathy here because...
And he's a champion. I'm a champion too.
I'm a Super Bowl champion. Thank you. I forgot about that little, that part of the
most important part.
Yeah. I was the best receiver besides Travis Kelce. He's a tight end. I was the best wide receiver on the Super Bowl championship team.
Mm-hmm.
So they get this aura of invincibility. I had a little trouble and everything like that. Dude, you facing like at least 6 felony charges, and then you have 6 civil cases going on. Like, if ever there was a time to lay low, you just need to lay low. But again, going back to what I was saying, I'm gonna show a little empathy here because, to be quite honest, I had to think back when I was 24.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was 100 air.
Yeah,
I wasn't a millionaire. If I got to be 100 air and I was 24, I was acting a damn fool. So they're saying young and dumb. So, but
yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not trying to laugh at his folly. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, man. He keeps making mistakes and putting himself in situations and around people that are putting him in these bad situations, man. Hope he learns, man. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next week or next month?
And here's
all this. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, man. Like, there's a reason why the Kansas City Chiefs drafted Xavier Worthy.
Oh, they're prepared to move on soon.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's already facing a multiple game suspension. We don't know what the NFL is going to hand down, but he's already facing a multiple game suspension for the traffic thing, for the racing thing and the accident.
Yeah.
But if we find out there's any shred of truth to this nightclub incident with this photographer, he could possibly be suspended for the entire season. Like, let's say, okay, so you just stupid. We need to sit you down indefinitely because you're just stupid. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's like, you in school, you in trouble for something you done. You show up at school. As soon as you get to school, you do something else stupid before you even get to the principal's office. They finna call you to the principal's office for something you did yesterday.
Yeah. And
on the way to the principal's office, you do something else stupid. That's essentially what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, go throw the book at him. Throw the playbook at him. It's probably still in that car at the junkyard. I don't know.
It's evidence, man. I don't want.
Yeah, Exhibit A, Your Honor. This is how irresponsible this fool is. This is playbook. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are people that want this playbook just to see what Kansas City doing.
Yep.
So, you know, like,
there's value in confiscating that. There's value in that, man.
yes,
Hey.
yes, absolutely.
Hey, man.
So yeah, man, brothers got to make. That's what my subtitle is down here tonight. Let me go this way. Yeah, my subtitle right here says make good decisions, man.
Mm-hmm.
You are on a championship team. You are a millionaire. You have the possible earning potential to be anywhere in the 30s after 4 years, in the 30s or maybe even 40 millions by the time the market goes up. We talking about 4 years from now, 3 years from now.
Annually.
Yeah, it's going up. I mean, we already talking about the money that Brandon Ayuk is going to get, that CeeDee Lamb is going to get, that Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are going to get. So let's say Rashee Rice keeps his nose clean and keeps playing at the level that he's playing. And let's say he improves upon it. You already got the probably the best quarterback in the league throwing you the ball. You are in a position to make way more than what you're making on your rookie deal. If you just keep your nose clean.
He's not anymore. You know what I'm
saying?
Not
anymore. No, you're right.
Not anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, he's looked at as damaged goods. And honestly, the trend is looking like that KC gonna let him go. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but given Andy Reid's his predisposition to make any wide receiver look good in his offenses, it's like, hey man, we don't need you. I'd rather have a guy that's not as talented as you that know how to do what he told and stay out of trouble. Because I could still make him 1,000-yard receiver or close to it.
Yep.
I'd rather have 3 guys that's kind of mid and all of them basically producing and they out of trouble than one guy that has the potential to be 1,000-yard receiver every year but can't act right. That's you the coach, Steve. You know that.
Yep.
You rather have a kid on your team that 2 or 3 kids that know what they do what they told and have that one star that can't stay out the principal's office, can't keep his grades up.
Because you're making life more difficult for the coaches, man, and they don't want that.
There you go. You know, so I mean, so Rashee Rice, man. I don't know.
People ain't coming to Chiefs games to watch Rashee Rice, and that's another thing too. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're gonna keep monitoring this, and as we get little tidbits of news about it, we'll in later shows we'll say, okay, this didn't happen, well, and we'll talk about it when it happens. But the thing is that how can you not learn from? I'm gonna be through. I'm gonna get off of it, but how can you not learn from people that came before you doing dumb stuff? You should be able to look at the years and years and years of guys who have just been irresponsible and messed up their careers. And that should be a cautionary tale right there. Like, hey, man, I ain't going to be like that, man. I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm in the NFL and I'm making millions of dollars, the only time I'm going to have brushes with the law is probably going to be the game warden. I kept too many fish, or something like that. That's about it. Yeah. Cornerback Eric Wright was fined $5,000 for keeping 3 redfish that was too big when he was fishing in Sabine Lake. That's about it. That's it.
Yeah.
And I invite Roger Goodell over to have some fish dinner. Then we'll smooth it over. But that's about it. That's the only trouble you're gonna see about me. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate these young guys don't really pay attention. They don't listen to what's being told to them at the rookie symposiums by these veterans on their teams. Hey man, look, you need to do such, this how I was managed to play this long. And it's not all of them, because you got some young guys, you'll never hear about them getting having any issues.
Right.
And then you got literally people who are employed by your franchise to make sure that you stay out of trouble. Yep. That are employed by the league to make sure you stay out of trouble.
Sure do.
It's almost like you have to go out of your way to get into trouble.
Putting the effort to get in trouble.
Yeah, hey man, I know you're trying to keep me out of trouble, but I just got to be a fool. And stop hanging around your homeboys from the hood. because they full of bad decisions.
Yep.
They full of bad decisions too. Stop hanging. I know they your boys, and hey man, we came up together. I just went a little bit further. Okay, look, man, we can't do a whole lot like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then I might throw a party at my house. You can come on over, or something like that. But we can't be. Nah, man, we can't be doing that because I got a lot to lose, man. So, and they can say, man, you changed. Okay, well, money changes things. Change, like what Deion said, change my address, my wardrobe.
Hey, like Jay-Z said, I don't like quoting Jay-Z, but like he said, man, I didn't work this hard to stay the same.
There it is. So yeah, you gotta make smart decisions, man. Okay, so moving on. We had an NFL draft, we've had an offseason. Yes, there's still free agents being signed here and there. But in keeping with the tradition of a lot of platforms, a lot of different podcasts, the YouTube channels, everybody has, websites, everybody's kind of done their power rankings for the NFL post-draft. This is after the draft, after free agency. And this, to be clear, we're going to do ours. Me and Steve are going to do ours tonight. We're only doing the top 10. We ain't got time for all that. Okay. We're doing the top 10. And this is based on, let me be clear so everybody understand what we talk about. So I'll be jumping in the comic box. Hey man, hush, chill. You didn't pay attention to what we were saying before. Okay. We're doing this based off of how these teams finished last year. What kind of team were they last year? And then based on how they addressed needs in free agency and the draft. And this does not mean that we think they're going to finish this way because, again, power rankings are fluid because, we're going to do a top 5 at week 5. We're going to do a top 10 at week 10. Then we're going to do a top 5 at week 15 when the season starts. But as of right now, on paper, everyone, this is what we have. And more than likely, Steve's is going to be different from mine. Mine's going to be different from Steve. It's going to be some stuff we're going to have that's going to be alike. He has not told me his. I have not told him mine. But based on what happened in the offseason, how the team finished last year, this is what we have for our top 10. All right? So my top 10, starting at number 10, we're going to start at the bottom. I have the Dallas Cowboys as my number 10. And my rationale for that is they didn't do a whole lot in free agency because they couldn't. They got to save their money because Dak might want this extension. Well, whether they're going to move on from him or not. CeeDee Lamb definitely deserves an extension. And Micah Parsons, who they picked up his 5th-year option, they're going to have to give him an extension pretty soon too. So they are stockpiling money to make sure they can keep these guys around. A lot of people are like, well, the Cowboys ain't doing nothing. They can't right now. They got to stockpile money. When you have 3 big names like that, and at the very least 2 out of those 3, they're going to probably pay. But they were a playoff team. They did win their division last year. And what I like what they did in the draft is they bolstered that aging offensive line. They went and got a tackle, and they went and got a center. And those are very smart moves, moving into looking towards the future. However, some people who are delusional, they think that Ezekiel Elliott is going to come in and save their running game, which I highly doubt. He was at 3.8 2 years ago a carry. He was at 3.5 last year. He's on the backside of his career. But, of course, we still have the preseason. There's still going to be guys that's going to be getting cut from other teams. They could bring in somebody. They just hadn't done it yet. So that's my rationale for me putting Dallas as my number 10 team in my top 10 power rankings post-draft. Steve, your number 10.
Post-draft, so I would rank Dallas a little, maybe a smidge higher than that. I don't have him at 10. I'm probably going to say, and I hate saying this because I like them a little bit. I'm going to say Buffalo.
Okay.
They didn't address their receiver need early in the draft, but they're still gonna be a competitive team. They're still gonna be good. I got them at my number 10. Got Keon Coleman. They got better a little bit in the trenches with a center, a tackle or two, O tackle, D tackle, edge rusher, two O tackles, edge rusher, D tackle. Better on defense. They feel like they addressed. I don't think it's a replacement for Stephon Diggs, but they did address that with one player. They need to address another receiver need, but I will put them at 10.
Okay.
10, yeah.
All right. I don't even have them on my top 10.
Okay.
Keon Coleman is a rookie, and then they went and got Chase Claypool, if I'm not mistaken. As those two guys are not going to equal up for the production of a Gabe Davis and a Stephon Diggs.
Sure.
And they don't have the good common sense enough to run the ball enough up there. Yeah. So I just don't have them. With the Jets getting stronger, and spoiler alert, I don't have the Jets up there. The Jets are they're probably in my next tier after the 10s. So I have the Jets. The Jets getting better. Miami's getting better, which brings me really to my number 9, which is Miami. Miami pretty much answered a lot of questions that they had in the offseason, picking up guys. This is going to be basically the South Beach track club again. The slowest guy in their receiver and running back core is Odell Beckham. He the slowest. That's the crazy part. And then they went out and they addressed a lot of other things. They got another running back in Jalen Wright, and which makes sense because what is Miami known for with their running backs? They're all good, but they're all injury prone.
Yeah.
So that then they brought in Chop Robinson and then Muhammad Kamara. They brought that in for to replace Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb leaving. So I like Miami as number 9, and I think it's going to be a dogfight. And this is a precursor. We'll talk about our division by division breakdown later, but this is a precursor. I think the Jets and the Dolphins are going to battle for that division. That's their division to lose between the Jets and the Dolphins, provided that they stay healthy. So Miami is my number 9.
I got Dallas at number 9. We got better in the trenches, man. We draft pretty well usually. That's really all I can say, man. We drafted some needs, addressed some needs, and I hope I'm not being a homer when I say I would give us number 9 right now as far as what we've addressed. Offseason move, bringing in Zeke. It was a fan signing, passion signing. He can pass block still. He can do some things. He's serviceable, but that move didn't really move me personally. But as far as what we did in the draft, I'm cool with that. I like that. I like what we got. We got very physical, very, very physical in the draft. And I'm gonna think that we have a number 9 ranking as far as offseason moves, power ranking wise.
Okay. All right. So my number 8 team is the Cincinnati Bengals. They were still somewhat of a threat without Joe Burrow. Now they're going to get a healthy Joe Burrow back. I like what they I like them moving forward. They beefed up a tight end, Amarius Mills and for offensive line, and then Chris Jenkins at defensive line. It's like, okay, that looks good. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, well, Joe Mixon's not there anymore. they can run in that particular offense because it's a derivative of the Shanahan offense. They just need some decent running backs. They could go with 3 or 4 decent running backs to replace the production of Joe Mixon doing what he did by himself. Because beforehand it was all Joe Mixon. But now you can spread that money out between 3 or 4 cheaper guys, and they can still threaten to win the AFC North. And I still feel like there's a power shift going on. I don't have them as my best team in the AFC North, but anything can happen in that division because that is the strongest division, in my opinion. And we'll get, again, foreshadowing. We're going to talk about that in our division breakdown. But I feel like the AFC North is one of the strongest divisions in the league. So Cincinnati Bengals, number 8. Steve?
Okay. Yeah, staying in division. I'm gonna go Baltimore, man.
Okay. Wow, you got them down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be higher. I have some teams I think that made some drastic changes that will significantly improve them. Baltimore made huge, great draft picks, man. I like the Nate Wiggins and the TJ Tampa picks.
I love TJ Tampa.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised he fell that low.
I'm really shocked. I loved his film. He jumped off the screen at me. I actually like TJ Tampa more than I like Nate Wiggins.
Yeah, he can play. I saw him play. I saw him play last season. He's a good player, man. He's a good player. They address all of their needs, in my opinion. But I put them down there because of I don't think their success is going to rely on those needs that they were missing. I think it just depends on scheming and coaching, in my opinion. They address all their needs, but I really feel like this is a tough conversation because it's like, okay, are we ranking what they addressed or how good we think they'll be in this, this upcoming season? So as far as
basically what they did in the offseason, based on we're starting how they did.
I could put them higher, but
we're starting. Well, basically, the starting point is what they did, where they ended the year. So that's like the foundation, and then we move them around based on how they, how they did in the offseason. Yeah,
I could possibly put them one step higher, but probably not much more than that. I have them at 9 or 8, but I'll keep them at 9 for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on, number 7, I have the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
They went right out the gate and found a replacement for David Bakhtiari. And honestly, bringing in Josh Jacobs, that was big because you basically have a guy that almost has the same skill set as Aaron Jones. So there's really no efficiency lost in your running and your short passing game. And I know for sure that I'm probably going, now that Josh Jacobs is in Green Bay, I'm probably going to pick him up on my fantasy league. But that, one of them anyway. But Green Bay already was they've shown that they're on the come up. You got these young core receivers who I think are only going to get better. You got a Jordan Love who I think is only going to get better. You bolstered your offensive line. There are questions at linebacker. I'm not really, I'm still kind of linebacker. That's why I have them so low. But they're my number 7.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say, I'll say Miami. Okay. For the same points that you made. They're missing a few pieces. They got better. I think Odell has a tiny bit left in the tank, but they addressed their DB needs with moving on from Xavier Howard. You mentioned Chop Robinson getting drafted. I think they're a lot better, man. They could be higher on other people's lists, but I have them there for me.
Okay. All right. So moving on, number 6. Now, I'm gonna make some people mad with this because I know there's probably a lot of people that have them way higher than this. But I'm standing 10 toes down on this until we see what these draft picks turn into. And that's the Philadelphia Eagles. I had the Philadelphia Eagles at 6. Now,
Okay.
and really, you got to be fair. You can say that about every team. You know, we got to see what their draft picks are going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
However, they had a phenomenal draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as addressing,
they really did.
Wrong,
yeah.
So they looked at their season and they said, okay, why did we not advance past the first round of the playoffs? What were the reasons? Why did we get skull drugged by the 49ers? Why did we lose to Dallas? Why did we split with Dallas instead of sweeping them? You know, those are the questions that you got to answer, you know, and a lot of it was coverage. So what did they go do? They go get Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, 2 of the best corners in the draft. I was really impressed at how, first of all, how did Cooper DeJean just fall like that? Because he's another one that I really, really, I scouted DBs and I was like, hey, man, because his versatility is what makes him so impressive to me because this guy can play outside. He can play in the slot. He can play safety. And then he gives you return ability.
Yep.
So it's like, wow. It's like, but I like Quinyon Mitchell. If in Fangio's system, they're going to coach a lot of that stuff. His only discrepancies he has in his game are coachable things. He has the size, he has the speed, he has the attitude. There's a lot of little small things with Quinyon Mitchell that can be coached out. I think he's going to be a phenomenal corner in this league. Then they turn around after that, and hey, we need linebackers. Our linebackers were getting toasted the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
They go and get, not only did they check 2 boxes, because not only did they go get a linebacker, but they went and got the son of the linebacker that played for them years ago. So now you got a fan favorite. That's a passion pick, but it also checks off a need.
Technically, yeah.
So it's like, okay, I can't knock their draft. Their draft, if you look at it in the terms of, hey man, we trying to make a pot of spaghetti. Okay, we got what don't we have in the kitchen? We don't have the noodles. Okay, we're gonna buy some noodles. Hey, what else we don't have? Well, we don't have enough sauce. Let's go get some sauce. Okay, we need some beef. Okay, let's go shoot a cow. But they went and did all of that stuff. Now we don't know if these noodles are gonna be great value or they're gonna be the good kind. We don't know if the sauce is gonna be Prego or Parade brand. They come in a can instead of a jar. But as far as face value on paper, the Eagles had a fantastic draft. But there's still some teams in this conference that are better than them. That's why I have them so low. There's still some teams in this league.
Yeah.
So that's why until these guys play, that's why I can't put them much higher than that, because you got beat by the fighting Baker Mayfields week 1 of the playoffs. You can't, man. Hey. You can't be up here like, we the big bad Eagles. No, until these guys get on the field and actually line up between these white lines and play, we don't know yet. Now, do we think they're good picks? Yeah, absolutely. But we got to see. So, my number 6 was Philly. Yeah.
All right. So, and I kind of echo your sentiment. Not as far as Philly, but I think the NFC, unfortunately, as a Cowboys fan, I got to say, I think they drafted better than the more competitive AFC teams. So let me do 6 and 5.
Right okay. Here.
So 6, I actually had Green Bay at 6.
Okay.
Had Green Bay at 6. I think they saw a lot in Jordan Love, and they invested in putting more pieces around him, getting a tackle, 2 tackles actually, getting some defense around him. Some top tier talent.
You're right. They got 2. I completely forgot about
that. Yeah. They got 2 tackles. They got Monk from Duke, who he'll be a swing O-line position player. And defenders, man. Heavy defenders. So they were really good last year. They killed my team. And they just improved on protecting their star player in Jordan Love. Next, 5, right? Mm-hmm. I would say Philly at 5.
Okay.
Everything you said, man. They got better. They got younger. They replaced needs. They got some studs, man. And they're number 5 for me. Yeah.
Okay. So my number 5 is the blue collar city of Detroit.
Okay.
First thing first, a lot of people, this flew under the radar, but a lot of people weren't paying attention. But you give Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penny Sewell extensions. That's the first thing. And a lot of people don't count that. It's always who's new that you bring in, but it's like, wait. These are your foundational pieces. You make sure they're going to be Lions for a minute. So that was smart right there. That's a huge move that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of folks. So that was big. You're talking about a team that basically played in the NFC Championship, so you got to respect that. Then they go out and they almost pulled a Philly by bringing in Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw at corner, who are also 2 highly rated corners. I can't believe Ennis Rakestraw fell that far. But these are guys that I had high grades on. And what was the issue that we always talked about in Detroit? The defense. What is the defense going to do? They go out and get Mekhi Wingo, and it's like, okay, wow. And they already were a good team. They without, you take away some bad decisions made by Dan Campbell, and we talking about Detroit and Kansas City in the Super Bowl. You take away, some miraculous plays made by Brock Purdy to come back. And even if he makes those plays, if Dan Campbell makes the right decisions, even with Brock Purdy playing as well as he did, Detroit still wins that game. Just kick some field goals. Yeah. So that's the thing. So you sit up here looking at, they addressed some needs on a team that was already a good team. So that's why I have them as my number 5, because they could be right back in the conference championship again next year. So Detroit's my 5.
Okay.
So I guess we're going to your 4.
You can give your 4.
Okay, so my 4 is the Baltimore Ravens. That's my 4. Okay. They kind of did everything you said. Roger Rosengarten should be playing for the Niners, but John Lynch was too stupid to draft a tackle. They go get Nate Wiggins and TJ Tampa, because let's be real, Baltimore's corners are aging. They're aging. So you need some young blood, some speed out there on the edges. Safety is fine. So it's really on the outside that they're having issues. So I think Baltimore can still be considered one of the better teams in the AFC, but I still have questions at wide receiver. Because I'm sorry, I'm just not impressed with Baltimore's wide receivers yet.
Yeah.
But like, I looked at a lot of other power rankings from different platforms, and they have them way up there. And I'm like, no, this is why I don't. So, so Baltimore is my number 4.
Okay. Now, if this was draft specific, I would have mentioned Chicago as far as draft needs and addressing positions. But if we're doing power rankings combined, I'll put Houston here.
Okay.
I'm going to put Houston here. they're gonna be a really good team. They're a really good team last year. They're gonna be even better team this year, man. Their offseason moves we've already mentioned on here. I don't got to mention again. Says enough. They're loaded at depth as far as what they did in the draft. Last year from Georgia, corner. They only got one offensive lineman in the draft, which I wish they would have gotten two. But they boasted on defense, tight end. I got them at 4, man. You know, and they might be better than that this season, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I have Houston as my 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I have Houston as my, just basically for almost all the reasons that you said. They won a playoff game against a very, very good Cleveland Browns team with less in the cupboard. And now they're going into this season almost bolstering every position. You know, defensive back is a luxury in Houston right now. They already had a very, very good secondary. Now you done added Kamari Lassiter and then Kalen Bullock out of Georgia. You know, the trade for Stephon Diggs was earth moving because, again, the receiving corps was already pretty good. Now Stephon Diggs comes in, he's the alpha dog. And now these guys are relegated to being 2s and 3s, which they were already 1s and 2s. So you got guys who used to be in 1s and 2s now playing 2s and 3s, less pressure on them. You know, bringing in Danielle Hunter from the Vikings. I'm like, oh my goodness. So you already have Anderson that was rushing from one side. Now you got Danielle Hunter. And then, you know, you got a defensive mastermind in D'Amico Ryans who has made some pretty mid players look fantastic, and he's made good players look great. He's made great players look like Greek gods. So, you know, Houston is going to be a handful. They are definitely going to be a handful, and I feel like they can challenge if all these guys pan out. Provided, I feel like they can challenge for the conference. And that's a big statement, but I feel like they can challenge for the conference. So that's my 3, Houston Texans.
Okay. 3, I'm gonna have to say this, and I have to couple it with not so much based off of what they did last year, but how good I think they're gonna be this year. So this is as far as free agent signings and draft and coaching moves. I think Washington has done the best.
Wow. You got Washington at 3?
As far as what they've done in the offseason, yes.
Okay, now don't forget, this is not just what they've done in the offseason, where they were at the end of last year. And
they made incredible moves, man. I
agree with you.
I think they're going to have a really good defense. They got a young quarterback who won't be asked to do too much because of the good defense. They got a lot of good veteran players. They drafted really well. I think maybe we may have, and again, I'm not saying they'll be the 3rd best team in the NFL this year, which I know power rankings means, but what I'm saying is they're going to be so much more better than a lot of other teams as far as year-to-year improvement, man. So this is just where I'm coming from when it comes to that. I think they've had an incredible draft, incredible coaching changes. I think they won the offseason as far as free agent signings. I hate to say it, but I really think they're my 3, man.
So I have Washington in my 2nd tier, along with Buffalo.
Okay.
And I have Washington moving up from that 3rd tier to the 2nd tier based on what you're saying about their off-season moves. I guess my philosophy, how I'm looking at this list is, did bad teams get better? Yes. Did good teams get worse? Or did good teams just stay status quo? Or did bad teams stay status quo? The ones that's in my 3rd tier, it's, you know, that's like 21 to 32, you know. Mm-hmm. So Washington is a team that was kind of below average that moved into that average category based on what they did last year and what they did in the offseason. So they moved up without question, because on paper They've definitely moved up. But based on what you said, because I agree with everything you said about them making some really good moves, but I can't put them above, like a Houston or a Philly or a Green Bay or Miami or Baltimore yet.
Yeah. And I'm not. Let me caveat. I'm not saying they're going to be better than them this season. I think we have slightly different lists. To me, this is a list of power rankings, I guess, quote unquote, as far as who's going to make the biggest improvement from one season to the next. So that's what I mean. I do not think they're going to be in the NFC Championship, but I think as far as and we're still fresh from the draft and we're still in the offseason. So this is me saying that they've improved significantly their roster and they're going to be way better than they were last year. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
They would not be the third team in the NFL.
Our perspective on this list is completely different.
Yeah.
Because my perspective is, okay, it's kind of like you looking at a woman with no makeup on and she wearing paint covered overalls and she's cute. She cute. She got a ponytail. Her hair's up. She ain't got no makeup on.
The ponytail.
And, she in the garden working, digging up plants. She got dirt under her fingernails and everything like that, but she's still cute. And then she goes and puts on a nice dress. And then she goes and gets her nails done. Then she gets her hair done. Then she puts on makeup. It's like, okay, you was cute. But woo, now you a movie star.
Yeah.
Then you got the girl that, this chick ain't fine by no stretch of the imagination. And then she she went and got on the treadmill for a few months.
Yeah.
And she lost a little weight, but you still kind of like, you better, you definitely, you didn't drop 50 pounds, girl, go ahead, but it still ain't like, you still ain't Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I'm looking at it like that. Was the improvement made? Absolutely. But are they still, are they dime pieces now? No. Like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the philosophy.
My list is improvement combined with, because Washington wasn't far from making the playoffs, man. I really think they would have got in.
You're right.
So I gotta listen, man. I think they will make the playoffs. They might win the division this year. I mean, the NFC East is going to be very, very tough this year.
I agree.
They're going to be way better than they were last year. But
I agree with that.
Yeah. I have them being way better. I think they'll be the third best team in the NFL. No, but if they were, I wouldn't be very surprised, man. I mean, I just wouldn't be. Let me start my number 2. Let's do a little rotation here. It's a little radical. I'm gonna say Chargers, man.
The Chargers.
And hear me out. There are some, and again, my list is heavily based off of
what they did in
what they did in the offseason, how they're gonna improve. And some coaches I just trust so much, man. And
you preach to the choir. I love Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is the reason why I hate Trip Baalke so much.
Right, exactly.
Brandon, don't you got
and listen, man, I think they're gonna be so much better than last year, man. They've addressed so many roster needs. They lost some veterans, but I think, again, my list is, of course, improvement. I think they're gonna be really good, man. I would not be surprised if we see them in at least the divisional round of the playoffs. And that's all I gotta say about them.
I can see that. Again, because like I said, our perspectives of how we're looking at this list is completely different. Because I'm picking up from the end of last season, and then I'm putting the data in from what they did in the offseason. So that's why my philosophy of looking at it is different. I don't disagree that the Chargers are going to be better because they got a better coach that knows how to make the right decisions in crunch time. He knows how to build a roster. They're going to completely change how the roster looks. Their style of play is going to change. So I agree that they're going to be better. I ain't got them on my list. I got them on that second tier again. Okay. That's another team I have on that second tier. So my number 2 is the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. And here's my rationale for that, because y'all know y'all saw me go off about not drafting a tackle. No, they did not draft a tackle. They went into the season. They can go into the season with Colton McKivitz as not good as he is. They went through an entire season with Colton McKivitz at right tackle and made it to a Super Bowl. So, yeah, it can be done. Do I prefer upgraded right tackle? Absolutely. I do not like Colton McKivitz at right tackle. I think he's a fantastic backup tackle. But then I went back and I looked at the film on some of these guys that they drafted. After I calmed down, and fixed myself an adult beverage, I looked at it, and Ricky Pearsall, I love the player. I don't like where we picked him, but I love the player. He's fantastic.
And that's a consensus I think that we all have, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't think I think John Lynch dropped the ball. I think John Lynch should have. If you really like Ricky Pearsall, you could have traded back to the top of the second round, picked up some more picks, and still taken this guy. If that's who you really, really, really wanted. Fernando Green out of FSU. Then they went and got Isaac Yiadom out of from New Orleans Saints, and then they went and got Rock Ya-Sin, and they're still not done because there's whisperings that they're still looking at Justin Simmons as safety, even though they went and drafted a safety, Malik Mustafa, who's pretty much an everyman. He can play all over the place, and he's like an Adonis, and he'll knock your head off. But I looked at that and I was like, okay, you know what? These are good players. And then they went and got, this guy thought his name slipped my mind, but he's the guy that's going to be rushing up on the other side of Nick Bosa, but played for the Rams. Solid player. If he can get 6-7 sacks in this season, that's all you need. If Bosa's getting double digits and he gets 6 or 7 accumulated with those other things, then yeah. Malik Collins, they brought him in to play to bolster the middle of it, and I'm just like, okay, these guys are still the NFC champions. I had to stop and think for a minute. I'm really hard on my own team, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, they still are the second best team right now in the NFL.
Yeah.
So because they didn't have all of that, and they still were an overtime away from being the champions. So that's why I have them as number 2. Not being a homer or anything like that. But I mean, they were smart enough not to trade away Deebo Samuel. They were smart enough not to trade away Brandon Ayuk.
I knew that wasn't going to happen, man. And this is, I don't mean to cut you off. I had to tell people this, like, you're talking about these rumors. I'm like, listen, man. I'm like, first of all, you're not going to trade away a first-team All-Pro and Ayuk, who was this year. You're not going to trade away Deebo Samuel, who accounts for the majority of your offensive production. You're not going to do that.
A third of it.
Exactly. A third. This past season, before CMC came, he was the majority of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, they don't got now. As far as Ayuk, they don't have to give him a deal or trade him now. After next season, then you can talk. They don't got to make any moves right now. He's going to play.
And here's the thing: I'm gonna add something else to all of the people. Like, yeah, they're gonna trade Ayuk. They got no money. People keep forgetting that the 49ers are about to get about $18 million back when June 1st hits from releasing Eric Armstead. They're going to get $18 million back under the cap.
Yeah.
And I can't get his name right all the time, but he's the capologist for the 49ers. Okay. They're going to give him an extension. It's probably going to be somewhere close to $30 million, maybe a little bit over. But the first year of his deal is probably going to be like 14, 15 million, and then it blows up from there. So they getting 18 back. They probably gonna pay Ayuk maybe 14 or 15 his first year of his deal. They gonna guarantee him a bunch of money, and that's how they gonna work that out. I knew that for sure that they were gonna re-sign Brandon Ayuk. I was more concerned about Deebo Samuel, but I knew they were gonna re-sign Brandon Ayuk because when they said what they were asking for Brandon Ayuk, I said nobody's gonna give that up. They wanted a first rounder for Brandon Ayuk.
This is the thing.
They knew. It's kind of one of those things where you're not giving up something, but somebody's steady trying to buy it from you. Like, hey man, I want to buy your laptop. Okay, that'll be $12,000 for a Dell.
He said $12,000.
I mean, Dell's a good computer, but $12,000? No, man, I'm good. I'm good.
Dell got some good laptops, man.
Huh?
Nah, but I said Dell got some good laptops, man.
Yeah, Dell got some good. Case in point, Brandon Ayuk. But ain't nobody paying $12,000 for a Dell laptop.
But this is the thing. San Fran doesn't have to make a move on him right now. They don't.
No, they don't. But here's another thing. I'm going to throw that on top of what you just said. San Fran historically has signed their big name guys late, July, August, damn near the season starting. That's why I was like, he's gonna get signed. Yep. Like, calm down. I'm talking to my buddies that are 49er fan. Oh man, BA, you go, man, he gone. No, he's not. Calm your silly ass down. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm like, you know, this is what they do. George Kittle's deal was in July. Debo's deal was in July. Nick Bosa's deal was in August. Like,
and Dallas does the same thing, man. So let me go. So I don't have San Fran in my top 10 only because, again, mine is mainly based off of like pretty much draft grades, kind of with power rankings. I think San Francisco's going to be probably in NFC Championship yet again another year.
Barn injury.
So, you know, my list is different, a little different than yours. But number one, my list still kind of contradicts that. I got Kansas City. You know, they had a good draft. They're defending champions. Over San Fran, I don't think San Fran drafted that well. Starting with their first round pick.
I don't have a problem with the other picks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pick 31.
Exactly. But I have to, you may disagree. You know, I do trust San Fran's front office. I do with a lot of stuff. And I trust KC front office as well as their coaching. But again, this is mainly my list is based off of roster improvement. When you have a roster like San Fran, it's hard to significantly improve that roster, which is what my list is based off of. I think KC has some needs that they address, and all my top 10 teams were based off of what they've addressed as far as need wise, which is why Dallas was as low as they were. So that's where I come from when it comes to my list. Okay,
so I have Kansas City number 1 too. And based on my perspective and my philosophy of looking at it, they're the champs, like you said. Okay. Then they went out and said, okay, they came out and they said, you know, wait a minute. We didn't lose, but there were some games we almost lost. They looked at it from that standpoint. What games did we almost lose? And why? What were those reasons? Well, number one, wide receiver. All wide receiver. Kadarius Toney couldn't catch a STI in a Bangkok brothel, you know. And
the words on this podcast do not reflect every member of this podcast.
That's the country in me. I got the analogies, but
we should probably be saying that.
But so they wouldn't address, you know, hey, what was the deal? Okay, well, you know, we need a Tyreek Hill type player, somebody that can take the top off to maybe help these other wide receivers out. They go get Xavier Worthy. Smart. Hey, you know what? Let's try. The one Super Bowl that we did lose was because we were having issues with our offensive line. Round 2, Kingsley Suamataia, who actually, this is what really upset me, was that was who San Francisco was scouting. That's I wanted Rosengarten or Suamataia. Because these are guys who played right, who had experience at right tackle, but could play left tackle. Yep. But you know, then they went and got another offensive lineman in round 5. Then they got 2 DBs in 4 and 6. You know, then they got another offensive lineman just to top it off in the 7th round. Yep. And I'm like, you can't knock that. Like, you already are the champions. It's literally a situation of the rich getting richer with Kansas City. And they Now, are there teams that are getting better? They're getting closer to them? Absolutely. Because if these guys don't work out, they're gonna get overtaken by some of these other teams underneath them.
And I think to add to you, and I think, man, I think Kansas City, I think, and they traditionally have started slow as far as winning early in the regular season. I think right now they want to start just a little faster, just get a little bit more momentum and a little bit more chemistry as far as, being on the same page and winning games, man. But they know what they're doing, man. I mean, like I said, some teams and coaches and offices you just gotta trust. And damn it, if they ain't, if you can't trust them, I don't know who you can trust. You know what I'm saying? I said all that the past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I am with them. I agree.
All right. So to recap, our top 10 post-draft power rankings. Basically, number 10, I have Dallas. Number 9, Miami. Number 8, the Bengals. Number 7, the Packers. Number 6, the Eagles. Number 5, the Lions. Number 4, the Ravens. Number 3, the Texans. Number 2, the 49ers. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Steve had number 10, the Bills. Number 9, the Cowboys. Number 8, the Ravens. Number 7, the Dolphins. Number 6, the Packers. Number 5, the Eagles. Number 4, the Texans. Number 3, the shocking pick, the Commanders. Number 2, the Chargers, another shocking pick. And we both agreed that number 1 was KC. So, and these are going to change. This is fluid. Power rankings are fluid based from week to week. And so when they start playing for real, a lot of this can change.
Oh, we can get hurt. We can do these every 3 weeks in the regular season. We can do these
we do it every 5 weeks. Top 5 at 5. After week 5, top 10 at the week 10, top 5 at the week 15. And by that time, we pretty much know who's going to the playoffs. Yep. We know what you are at that point about week 15. Yep. So, which kind of segues into us closing, but talking about what's coming up next. Next week's show, we will be talking about the schedule release. The NFL is going to release the schedule on May 15th. That's the exact same day as our show. We ain't going to be talking about nothing but the schedule release unless Rashee Rice does something else stupid. So basically, we'll be talking that'll be our schedule release show. Make sure you tune in for that. Give your thoughts on it. Who's going to go play in Europe somewhere? Who's got to play on prime time? All of that. So we're going to be talking about the schedule release. The next thing, after that show, for the next 8 weeks, we will be doing our division by division breakdown and making our predictions on who we think is going to win these divisions. And we did pretty good, if I do say so myself, Steve. I think we did pretty good on our picks. We were pretty solid on a lot of them. This before they played a down of regular season football, which brings me to my next point. During that 8 weeks, we're doing an all call. If you would like to be a cast member or a co-host on Just a Fan podcast, that means you on the screen with us, you on the camera. When we talk about a team in your division, let us know. Hit us up on our inboxes on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or our TikTok. Hey, my name is such and such, and I am a such and such fan, and I would like to be a guest on your show when we talk about the AFC West or whatever.
But know your stuff, though. Know your stuff, too.
You got to know your stuff, because we will vet you. Because if you come in there talking crazy, no, man, you can't be on the show. You making us look bad, that was dumb as hell what you just said. Don't. So you can't just be some howling mad fanatic of a homer of a fan. Okay, we want fans. We want diehard fans. We want people that are knowledgeable. We already have some folks that are lined up that were on our show last year. They were fantastic, but there are a lot of slots open. So, for example, the first week that we're going to cover is going to be the NFC South. That means if you're a Saints fan, if you're a Falcons fan, if you're a Panthers fan, and if you're a Tampa Bay fan, then you can try to get on this show with us. We would love to have literally representation for all 4 teams. That would be fantastic, because all we will do is moderate. Actually, I'm going to be in the back going, dance, puppets, dance. That's what I'm going to do. But that's how we're going to do our show. So if you're interested in being a guest on our show, hit us in the inbox. Tell us who you are, where you're from, who you root for and why you would like to be a guest on our show. And if we like you, we'll have you. And you'll be a star for a day on Just a Fan Podcast. So be looking for a promotional that's going to be coming out as soon as we get through with the production on it. Be looking for a promotional. Eric James said, bet. Eric James was a guest last year. So, Eric, you come on back. If you was on that last year, you come on back. Sir. Okay, so basically, be looking for a promotional on TikTok, on Facebook, and Instagram, and all our other platforms, and just hit us on the inbox and say, hey, yeah, I want to be on the show. All right? So, with nothing else left, that's our show for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We enjoyed being with you. And remember, on Just a Fan Podcast, ain't no days off. NFL is year round, 365, baby. Because we're just fans and you're just fans. And we want to talk about football. I'm Pando 316, the good guy with the black hat, the Texas Rattlesnake. Over here is Hugh Kleffner, the inventor of the show. That's Mr. Steve White. And no, I don't miss Trent Ball. He can stay his raggedy tail right there in Jacksonville and mess their team. Okay, he messed up my mood. All right. Thank you and good night.